And that's kind of what gave us the idea.
We decided that this has to get better organized and we better do it, and that's what we did.
So we decided to make the call on the radio. All available boats. This is the United States Coast Guard aboard the pilot boat New York. Anyone want to help with the evacuation of Lower Manhattan? Report to Governor's Island.
When that call came on the radio, they were coming.
I was uncertain of who was going to respond. About 15, 20 minutes later, there are just boats all across the horizon.
Literally 100 targets converging on the lower part of Manhattan.
When we came out of that dust cloud, tugboats, I've never seen so many tugboats all at once.
There was just like a fleet of tugboats headed to Manhattan.
If it floated and it could get there, it got there.
All different size, shapes, and form. I mean, and they were zooming across this water.
Ferries, private boats, party boats.
I worked on the water for 28 years. I've never seen that many boats come together at one time that fast. One radio call and it just came together just that fast.
Hundreds of boats converged on the city, leaving the sun-bathed harbor behind them. Dead ahead, the unknown.
Evening, guys. There we go. Sorry, I was clicking menus in the background. Okay, so the intro was a little different than normal. The intro was at least a little bit of Operation Boat Lift during 9/11. They needed to evacuate Manhattan, and they did what needed to be done. This correlates with what I'm going to be talking about tonight. So, to lay some groundwork before I get into detail, I had my general meeting for CERT today. I won't go into details, but one thing did stick out, and it's not I'm not breaking any non-disclosure agreement by saying it, but would you help in a natural disaster or a major situation? Can I get a 1 in chat if you would, if you saw a disaster zone and you knew you could help or you wanted to help in some form, that you would? Now, generally speaking, people want to do good, okay? People want to help. People want to maintain the status quo. Now, I learned something, at least for my area, and I'm sure it goes for pretty much everywhere else, being that these are certain standards that are nationwide, implemented everywhere. We got to talking about IDs, okay, your identification, your credentials. I will be taking the CERT training sometime in the coming month or two, which is a 3-day course of intense training of medical and CPR and firefighting and traffic control and what to do in a pandemic, as if I don't already know. Sit in the house and wait. So we got to talking about IDs and the fact that some of us don't have IDs, including myself, because you don't get the ID for cert until after you pass the course. And then we mentioned county IDs. Okay. I don't know if it's just for cert in my area or my county, but it sounds like it's a plan that is implemented in some form across this country. Of you have a county ID as somebody that can help in a disaster. Meaning there are plans in place. I don't know details of these plans because I have not been through it, and I probably am on a need to know basis about it. But there are disaster plans across this country that have taken into account lists of people throughout different areas, counties, states, municipalities, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Your city, your state, pick one. Okay. All have a plan for massive disaster, mass casualty event. They have a list of people that they will be calling up, seeing if they can get a hold of in an event such as that. What this ID does that we were talking about, the CERT ID and the county ID, is basically I'm allowed to be here path. Okay, that's all it is. But they took the information, my name, my yada yada yada, my picture, phone number, etc. As to put me at basically the top of a list of a group of people. Let's say you have we'll say 100 people in the county, just residents, and 10 of which are first responders, and the rest are divided up however you want to in your head, anywhere from civilians to people that have medical knowledge to people that are doctors, nurses, etc. Somebody that is not a first responder but has some knowledge to help in a disaster. Okay, divide it however you want in your head, the last 90 people there. So the ID will basically put me at the top of a list out of those 100 people, let's say. This person is one of the first people we are going to contact and make sure they're okay so they can help the rest of the people. So let's say something hits like Hurricane Helene. Okay. They have a list of people. They're going to go down the checklist. Is so-and-so available? Is so-and-so available? And so forth and so on until they get through the people that actually have credentials and an ID and they know about and have passed background checks and have passed training, and that's your firefighters, your EMS, your pick something, CERT, okay? The ones that actually know something of significance and are vouched for. And then in a disaster, you're going to have most of what chat is, okay? Some of you are knowledgeable and have certain skill sets that set you aside. But generally speaking, chat, okay, the general public are going to want to help, okay? So let's say what I said, 10 first responders. So let's go 40 general people that have a little more skill set than your average Joe, but are not ID'd, credentialed, or vouched for in the government system or the I don't want to say government system because it could be a continuity of government type thing, disaster. Whoever's in charge entity, okay, whether that's your local city, your municipality, your township, your county, or your state, okay, these can be of very varying levels of authority. So let's say 40 people out of the remaining 100 people, or remaining 90 people, want to show up and help in some fashion. None of you are vouched for. We don't know who you are, but you want to help. So what they told me is all these people are going to need to be organized and such. What they'll do is they'll take down your name and your contact info and such and put you at the what they call the bottom of the list. Okay? Basically somebody that knows something a little more than your average Joe that they can call on if they're really, 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 really strapped for people. Okay? Now, take the clip that I just played for the intro, Operation Boat Lift. The National Guard was basically SOL. Okay, that's when a government entity is shit out of luck. At this point, we're not worried about legalities, credentials, or whatever. We just need to get people out of here. We need all the help we can get. I don't care who you are, where you're from, etc. Nightwing says, reminds me of Dunkirk. Well, if I go back in that clip, the very ending of it, they evacuated more people in Operation Boat Lift. Let me go back here and I will find it. Hold on. Here, hold on a second. So, funny that you mentioned Dunkirk. They referenced it here.
My life on the water.
The Great Boat Lift of 9/11 became the largest sea evacuation in history. Larger than the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II, where 339,000 British and French soldiers were rescued over the course of 9 days. On 9/11, nearly 500,000 civilians were rescued from Manhattan by boat. It took less than 9 hours.
500,000 people in 9 hours. God, why do I always tear up every time I hear that? I hate emotional shit. Anyway, you are going to be that type of person, unless, of course, you have credentials. So, my question to you is, would you help in a major disaster situation? Okay, we've already answered that. Now, what's the next step? You show up on scene, or you show up to a place that needs help. Well, from what I understand, they're not going to deny your help, but they're going to deny your help. If that makes sense. They will put you in non-official positions, non-important positions, if possible. If there's nobody else, of course, that's going to be it. You are it. You are what we call CIC. Well, that's CERT in charge, or Commander in charge, or as we like to refer to it as Clown in charge. So, you're going to be at the bottom of the list, and you may not even be able to help. I was told that CERT, in some fashion, at least my area, would, if it was a hypothetical situation, it would be perimeter lockdown. Nobody in or out without IDs. Which makes sense, just the same as you lock down a crime scene. They're going to lock down a massive area to where people are not in and out. Look at Helene, okay? Nobody in or out. And they were doing their darndest to prevent people, unless you lived there, keep them out. Now, the reason I say this is going to be nationwide is because look at Helene. They did the same thing as they just mentioned in the meeting of nobody in or out without ID, blah, blah, blah. So, you may have all the good intentions, you can muster, but it may not do any damn good if you don't have the right connections, the right credentials, or so forth. So, what am I getting at here? You better get the credentials of some type. I'm not talking like a hospital ID. I'm not talking your badge at work for some security office or something. Nothing of that magnitude. Rather, talk with your city councils, talk with your county as to put yourself on a list for them to contact you. Okay? Because that's what happened to me today. Was that my picture was taken, my contact info was taken, and now I'm on a list to be contacted in a major disaster. So I would, if you have any desire to help in a disaster situation and you're willing to stick your neck out, call your county, contact your county. Somebody somewhere will know something. Okay, go to your police commissioner, your mayor, whoever is of some authority, somebody that's in charge of natural disaster response, preferably, and ask them, do you have a list of people that you will call during a disaster? If they do, then sign up. Thank you, Bushcraft. I'm glad that I'm on the same list as you, because you're number one on that list. Anyway. Chrissy Cat says, saying be available with ID. Well, yeah, in that way, yes. And if you don't have credentials, at least your name is on some list to where they know who is has some know-how. Okay, whatever that know-how is, whether that's radios, medical, etc. The radio guy that coordinates all the ham radios for the county, he says during our meetings on the repeater and certain times, we only have about 6 people. And he said, he made the point of, well, during a disaster, there's going to be hundreds of people wanting to help and offering their help. get on some list so if you are needed or you do want to help, they know who you are. If you are radio, give them your name, your call sign, etc. Because if, let's say, the communications go down in your county, phones, internet, etc., they are immediately going to backup power on ham radio towers, and they are using the ham networks. Okay? You call up your county, you put your name on the list, and that way they can contact you on that repeater, that tower, and say, hey, we need your help. Can you relay messages? Can you take down data? Can you take down names, lists? Can you be a communications headquarters of some type? And it doesn't take much to be that. Okay, all you need is the little Baofeng I've shown you guys prior, a notepad, a pen, and some common sense. Okay, you hear something over the radio, you transcribe it, no matter what it is. Because later on in disasters, people are going to need to know information, who, what, where, when, and why, as to what's happened. Who was where, when, and what happened, and so forth. So, you may all be kind-hearted. You may want to jump right in and, fuck my knee. I'm sorry, just my leg went into a cramp. Holy fuck. Okay, sorry about that. I'm getting old. In Ohio, it's called Serve Ohio. What is Serve Ohio? Is that some volunteer program thing? Or is that, what is that? I'm looking it up here. Okay, it's AmeriCorps volunteering funding grants. Yeah, okay, so basically FEMA. Okay. Or no, it's the, you know what it is? It's the People's Corps. Members, volunteers, resources of purpose of building stronger. Served with purpose of grant under Federal Communications Trust Act 1993. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Something like that, Bushcraft. Yes. So look for these programs. Look for somebody that is in charge to allow you to put yourself or put your foot in the door. They gave a scenario of a guy that wanted to be on the county list for a ham network, a ham net, which is, again, in first responder speak, that's when something happens, they all communicate in a coordinated, controlled effort for communications on the ham bands. Some guy wanted to get on to help out, and he refused to give them his name and that, and he got all flustered, and he said, I'm not being put on no government list, blah, blah, blah. One of those. Okay, we're all on a list. Get over it. They all know who we are. he didn't want to be, and our radio guy basically told him, well, you're not getting in and you're not going to be anybody of significance to help. You're going to be put at the bottom of the list, meaning you're just Joe Schmo with a little bit of knowledge with no credentials. They don't know who you are because there is what is called OPSEC. That's operational security. Is somebody nefariously trying to infiltrate communications during a disaster to fuck things up on purpose. So with that, get on a list, an actual proper list, not anything that's nefarious. You know what I'm saying? Talk with your people, talk with your first responders. Somebody somewhere will know something if you have the desire to help in such a fashion should the need arise. Yeah. So this Tuesday, side note, I will be starting my ham classes, and I will be getting licensed for ham radio here soon. So whoever's ham in here, I know I got a few. I think Nightwing, you're ham, if I remember correct. So may be running into you if I can punch out that far. So the class runs every Tuesday via Zoom call from this Tuesday to like sometime in December. So it's going to be a minute. But yes. Wow, since the early 70s. Holy shit. So. Questions about helping in a major disaster. If nothing else that I recommend you do tonight, other than put your name on a list, look into see if you have a CERT team in your local area. It doesn't have to be in your city. It could be the next city over if you're in a metropolitan area, such as myself. The CERT team in a lot of other areas other than mine are more disaster response ready than my CERT team. My CERT team is predominantly traffic and immediate emergencies such as power outages, downed wires, etc. We're more of a first responder team than we are disaster team, really. I mean, on day-to-day speak, not necessarily long-term. Long-term, we're prepared, but still. We are like one of the top CERT teams in the country. We actually got recognized a couple years ago, I guess, as like they looked over the disaster plans and how things are organized and how we train our guys here in my specific CERT team. And I guess the governing board of CERT for the whole nation deemed my city the best CERT team. I think nationwide. At least one of them. If not, I know it's at least number one statewide because we actually have a trophy for that. So look to join your local CERT team, and guess what? It doesn't take much to join because on a national level, you take the course and you get your equipment from them, and it's yours to keep. The backpack, the flashlights, the medical kit, the etc., the helmet, all the stuff. is for yours to keep, and you can stop your training right there. You don't have to take it any further. You get trained, and that's it. And you're part of the CERT team if they call you up. Your name is then on a list of like, hey, these are first responder people. These are people that know what they're doing, that can help in a disaster, and it helps you get your foot in the door. My CERT team is kind of a double-edged sword, if you will. We do the regular CERT stuff, and then we do local city stuff. Most other CERT teams only do natural disaster stuff, and they never, ever, rarely get called up. Unless, of course, you're in a natural disaster zone such as Florida, the Tornado Alley, California, places that have regular seasons of natural disasters. Other than that, you don't really get called up. Some CERT teams are completely self-funded and don't have anybody else supporting them. Have I gotten any awards yet? Myself? No. That'll probably come next year, though. I am up to, yesterday we did a trunk or treat thing. So I was at 56 hours last monthly meeting. So I need 75 to get an award. So yeah. I didn't get a 20-hour award. There is no 20-hour award. That's the 20-hour minimum for you to stay on the team. 25-hour, I think. That's just to prevent people from being lazy and just taking their shit and going. Okay, so bushcrafted's different for you. So with that, that's how my team differs from different jurisdictions. Is we hold our guys to a, I guess you could say, a higher standard because we're constantly being deployed on smaller situations. You guys remember the big canister fire here in Detroit, the warehouse that blew up? I'll show you if you don't know. I'm pretty sure we did traffic on that. This was before my time, but yes, this was before my time. But I guess our guys were there, at least directing traffic away from it. Come on, stupid ads. I'm pretty sure this is it.
And residents in Clinton Township, a northern suburb of Detroit, were urged to stay inside for hours after an explosion last night. Now, the fire is under control, but take a look at your screen. You can see that glowing red smoke and debris being projected through the air after about 9 p.m. One firefighter was hurt, and it took about 5 hours to get the blaze under control.
Yeah, so am I going for general or tech? I think it's technician. Let me see. Hold on. Boop, boop, boop. Hold on. It's technician class license course. So yes. Nightwing, is technician above general or extra rather? I know extra is like the top of the line. So which one comes before which one? The general or the technician? Which one's the basic one? It goes from novice, tech, general, extra. I think they got rid of the novice since your time, but I would assume it's tech, general, extra. Because I don't have a call sign yet, and I think you need a call sign to take the other courses, so if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, what was I saying about this warehouse thing? Somebody refresh my memory, please. Yeah, so anyway, so my team will help out with things like this. We're not rushing into this blaze, of course, but we would do traffic on such things. So forth and so on. We have, on a national level, though, you would be more left to your own devices. So with that, again, if you're going to survive a situation, you better be prepared to help out. I know a lot of people are just going to say, well, if the big one hits, then they'll just let me go and help out anyway, credentials or not. Yeah, maybe. I mean, in 9/11 they did, like with the boat lift thing. But they could also not. They could also be on lockdown and say, fuck you, go elsewhere. So if you're truly hell-bent on helping, join your local volunteer something for natural disasters, whether that is CERT, Skywarn, that's a weather thing for like hurricanes and such. Your local ham club. I know ham radio is not what it used to be. It's not like, because we have the internet now. But again, ham is more, yes, it's archaic, but it's also kind of bulletproof in a way. Because as long as you have two radios, you can communicate. You can make a radio pretty much out of nothing. Even if you don't have a repeater tower, you can still do a lot with just what is called simplex. That's radio to radio, eye of sight, or line of sight rather. Where if you have your cell phones and internet, that ain't gonna work. So, Nightwing, there was a new HT radio. I think it's 950 Pro text on CB 2 meters, 220 and 450. And SW. What's SW? SW. Shit. Shortwave. Shit. Sorry, my brain. I'll have to look into that. 950 Pro. Nightwing says, when its cells and power go down, it's hams. Yes. Predominantly. Now, on a less secure note, now granted no frequency is totally secure, but ham and police frequencies tend to be more secure than GMRS, that's General Mobile Radio Service, which I have my license for. You guys know that. But I've also been an advocate, at least for my local area here, for GMRS too, because yeah, it can't do everything ham can, but as a backup or just a local thing, like if you're doing a neighborhood and you want to stay off the ham band channels to not clog up the airways, then yeah, GMRS is good. So I've been kind of an advocate for that in my local area. About $100? Yeah, that's about $100 I ain't willing to spend. Speaking of $100, I donated $100 to my CERT team today for our meeting. I gave it to the treasury guy and I said, here. So I'll probably get it back in some form of gear or equipment. That's how I see it. No big deal. Ratel RT 950. Isn't that a RT? Isn't that a Retrievis brand? $100 is reasonable when money is going toward. Yeah, I get it. Life with Bobby. Yeah. Been getting very good reviews. I'll have to look into it, Nightwing. I'm going to go ahead and drop the invite. And we'll see where this goes, if my regulars come up here or not, or whatever. I'd like to keep it on subject, but we know how that goes. Let's see. They said that they are going to be getting radios for the rest of us that don't have police radios, so that'll be good. Hello, black screen bushcraft.
Whoops. Had it on the wrong scene. How's it going?
That was actually a pretty good intro, opening the door and all.
No, that's a stinger. It's changing scenes. So, like, if I go to another layout.
Oh, it's just a transition thing.
Yeah, they call them stingers.
Do you have to? Can you do that on here?
No, that's OBS.
Oh, that's okay. That's you.
Yeah.
So thoughts and such on this topic, or we just gonna let this go?
I've already done it, so. Well,
what?
Not officially, but because I've already told the story about being there at the '89 earthquake. Because
volunteering thing.
Yeah, I was selling hot dogs during the World Series.
Oh,
and ended up staying there for 2 weeks helping out. And at first, I was handing out water and helping people, getting them if they weren't, badly hurt.
Right.
And then I was taught how to do blood pressure and take vitals and stuff, and we had color bands around our arms.
Okay.
We didn't have IDs. Well, there's people that had IDs. There's always going to be people with their IDs.
You were part of the general public helping out.
Well, no, because the area was locked down because of looting and stuff. Anytime there's an earthquake, the looters come in.
So
and do stuff.
What made them keep you in that? In the good standing of that scene,
They just seen me working, helping people. I didn't ask. I seen somebody that laying on the ground. I went over and helped.
Right.
Them. And
maybe it's you seem like you knew what you were doing, so they kind of left you alone, type thing.
Yeah. Well, then they started giving me stuff to do, and then, I think it was probably about 18 hours in, I was going in places, and because at that time I was skinny as a rail, so I could climb into places, which nowadays I don't know if I would do that, because I
don't even know if
I was really young back then, so I didn't care.
Well, I don't know if they would even allow that kind of shit these days.
Well,
with all the procedures and red tape.
Yeah, at that point they did have that stuff saying that it has to be cleared and stuff, but
I'm saying for like
some people said
type thing.
It's up to you. Can you go in there and see if that person, how bad they are?
Well, that's where they're removing their liability. In other words, you did it of your own accord. You are not, because if they tell you to go in there and you get killed, that's a lawsuit against us. That's against the city or whoever told you. Where if they say, can you or will you of your own accord, then their noses are wiped clean.
I slept. They had tents out there, and I slept right not with them, but in the same tents,
same area,
with the firemen, paramedics, police, military.
I'm surprised. Back then I'm sure things were different, but that's.
Like I said, I was there for 2 weeks. I probably could have stayed longer, but it wasn't.
Who wants to be in that environment for 2 weeks?
It wasn't. At that time, it wasn't so much helping; it was recovering.
Right. The slow, drawn out. Like, oh, here's another one.
Yeah, a lot of times when you went in, and it's not like every other building you found somebody that passed away or something, because there's only, I think it was like 50, 60 people passed, but there was thousands and thousands of people got injured.
Right.
And there
Did
was
they teach you how to triage?
Of people. Yeah.
Yeah, like the red, the green, and the black.
Well, that wasn't, they ran out of that stuff.
What I'm saying is they taught you the concept of, okay, you're injured, but you're able-bodied enough to help. You're injured and you need immediate attention, or you're dead.
It was basically, it seems really bad. You dip your finger, depending, and you write on their foreheads.
Yeah.
It sounds bad, but that's what they do.
Well, that's what CERT does when we have to go into buildings searching for people. Like they teach you that, and you got to be kind of callous about it, because it's like you got to realize there's nothing you can do at that point the person's gone. Not you're trying to treat them with as much respect, and by writing time of death or status or whatever it is on them and expediting them from that situation,
X.
Yeah.
That
in that way you're doing a service for their family, and you're marking them, you're finding them, you're providing closure for the family. I know it sounds morbid, but in a way you're helping out by finding these people if they are deceased. Otherwise the people wouldn't know where their family or their loved ones are. So it's a good thing that
well, see, that's the thing. If it wasn't like we had to do a apartment building, and I mean the whole thing was not flattened, but in a big rubble, and we were told not to proceed, but everybody still did, because
there was a story.
You hear stuff inside there. It's you can't stand there.
Yeah,
that's like that stuff that happened in Dallas when they all stood outside and waited for somebody to give them orders. There, people don't do that. If you hear somebody that needs help, you go help.
What do you mean Dallas? What happened? What? Which one?
You remember the school thing where all the
where they're okay.
Yeah.
Right. There was a story from 9/11 where they found a person's, I think their like forearm or their foot just left after the whole building pancaked, and that was all they could return to the family was, this is all that's left of this person. You're going to see that kind of shit. You got to be prepared for that.
Like the bridge thing, I don't know the double-decker bridge. I was due to go in. Somebody else went in that was actually supposed to, and it fell. So I was like seconds from going in there.
Well, that's where they teach us in CERT, at least as far as I know. I haven't actually gone through it. I will in the training, though, is at the end they stage a live action disaster type thing. And they always teach you when you clear a building to always go in with somebody, because that way if you go in a building, it's unstable, you fall through the floor. If you're by yourself, you're fucked.
Well, there at this point there's 30 people sitting out there, and one guy's climbing up a ladder to go in. I forget what bridge it is. It was, but it's like it's the famous bridge that the top deck fell onto the second and third deck, and people had to go up in because you could hear stuff, and cars were still running. So the first guy goes up and didn't have a respirator, so they come down and had somebody else go in, and I didn't have anything, so that's why the other guy went.
And they've also taught us, like, if you're not comfortable doing some activity, like, for instance, not that I'd want to, but being a small guy, they're probably going to send me as like a tunnel rat through some rubble somewhere. If I'm not comfortable doing that, and I'm volunteering for this, I can tell them no, and put me somewhere else that I can help. Being that I am a volunteer, I have the ability to tell them no. I have no duty to help anybody. They were saying this during the meeting that we had today. If you're providing CPR to somebody, you ask consent, and then if somebody says no, well, you just take 2 steps back and say, Okay.
Oh yeah, there was
and if they're
no
choking,
asking.
if they're choking and they pass out and they hit the floor, you're like, you want help now? Kind of thing. Kind of rub it in their face, be like,
yeah, that's changed because, and I don't know, it might be different because of, there were so many. I'm sure it was different on 9/11 too. I mean, not ground zero, but around the area.
yeah.
They didn't. If somebody's laying there, they didn't ask, "Can I
Well,
save your
if
life?"
you're, so they said, if they're unconscious or unresponsive, then yeah, go ahead, help them if you want to. You don't have to, but if you
Yeah.
want to take, that's called implied consent. But if they're conscious, then yeah, you have to obviously ask or communicate that to some extent.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody asking if they can I give you mouth to mouth or something like that.
They don't
It
do
was,
mouth to mouth with CPR anymore unless it's with a mask,
yeah,
like a bag for the
yeah.
breathing.
There it was. I've seen people use the little thing where they put it over their mouth and blow in there.
Yeah,
But I've only seen a couple of those being used.
it's primarily not used anymore, according to my CPR knowledge from today's meeting. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't give CPR to anybody or anything like that. It was, I'd go in and put the cuff over their arm and take their vitals and
Right.
either yell it out. I
Triage.
didn't have no radio or anything.
Right.
And they would say, coming out, they would determine if they were going to save them or not. If,
right.
Type of thing. If they were too far,
well,
that wasn't my decision. I was just
well, no, that's called triage, where you're like,
that was a doctor that I was with at that time that was, I guess, volunteering to help.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing that I was mentioning before is, yeah, you're going to have your people come out of the woodwork, like your doctors, your nurses, the people that want to help, but don't have can I get into the deep, deep stuff? Like, for instance, 9/11, you're not going to be allowed into ground zero, but you can be allowed to help in the
You ever hear
outskirts.
The story? I can't remember the guy's name, but he just retired from the Marines. He still had his go bag in his trunk, and seen this happening. He undressed and everything right there outside of the road. Put on his gear and walked straight in. They didn't stop him or anything.
I remember seeing pictures of him doing that. Yeah,
and he's one of them that actually saved. I think it was a fireman and a police officer. Him and another guy.
Him being military, or obviously military.
Yeah.
It seems like they let him go because of that.
Yeah, but normally they had every street blocked. You couldn't get in there.
What I'm saying is, if I see military or some official, somebody that's in government or some continuity of government type role, I'm going to let them in or not really say anything like, oh, I didn't see you walk behind me type deal. You want to go help? That's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just
everybody that went to ground zero, it's like Russian roulette because all the asbestos.
That and stuff falling still, could hit you, knock you out.
Yeah, buildings falling for no reason that wasn't hit.
Right. But I'm just using 9/11 as an example there with that clip of when continuity of the situation disintegrates. For instance, the National Guard calling up all those boats. It's going to be all hands on deck no matter who you are. In that case, go and help if you want. Other than that, you'll need ID or credentials ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, especially nowadays. Back in, again, like I said, that was in '89. There were people that would come out saying they're helping.
Right.
People putting things in their pockets and whatnot. If they were found caught doing things like that, they would be handed over to the police eventually.
Right. Looting.
Well, it wasn't quite the looters. You knew who they were. They were coming in, grabbing stuff and leaving. These are the people that, oh, I want to help, and come in, and you would see them over there pulling money out of people's pockets, and then they
right.
They got some justice before they got turned over to the police.
Well, that's what I was saying was they want people on the list of people to help ahead of time. So they know,
people.
Right. So they know that you're trustworthy. That way, when the shit does hit, you don't show up and be like, well, we don't know who you are, so we're putting you at the bottom of the list, not out of spite, but rather we have to,
Yeah, see, I can understand, but I was actually right there when it happened.
Well, so it's a different thing of if you're in the damn thing here, then you're kind of part of the scene,
Yeah.
It's the same principle as if I was in an accident, but I was okay and helping the other person.
Yeah.
You're kind of involved in that. You're not going in from the outside. So, let's see what else do I have here to talk about? I got new boots. Red Wing. I got new boots.
Boots.
What'd you think I said?
I thought you said you got new boobs.
What the fuck?
That's what I said. What is this?
Boots. Red Wing, $260. They're real nice moccasin style boots.
One of them sounded like Forrest Gump. I got new boots.
Boots.
Yeah, the Serve Ohio is actually connected with CERT program.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I don't know if it's because if you go to the website, it tells you to register, and you have to also register with Serve Ohio. You have to log into that first to register for CERT.
Oh.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know that until I just
the Serve Ohio first, then CERT.
Yeah.
Huh.
And again, they do other stuff besides, handing out water and things like that. Like when a tornado happened a couple towns over, we went over and cleared trees out of people's yards and
I've done that.
Cleared it from power lines and not live ones and stuff, but volunteering. And then there's other parts of it would be cooking for people that were out there.
Right. You were part of the home base, the HQ, the comfort side of things,
Yeah.
Because when you go into a disaster situation, you're not just
and it's
know,
not
cleaning up and finding
Cross.
people, and you're trying to maintain some type of comfort level.
Yeah.
Let me share.
And then blankets out and water and things like that.
So you were saying right here, you know, so there's the CERT, but then there's the Serve Ohio right there.
Yeah, that's the exact page I was on. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know you had to do
Now,
register with
I
them.
didn't have to do, you know, register with any other program before I went to CERT. I just got a background check after applying to my local CERT. So, let's see, nationwide training organization, professional responders can rely on during this. Yeah, your backup. That's all it is. Let's see, Ohio CERT. What do you
And
got
that's
here?
what I was talking about, the award thing.
Here?
Yeah, if you see the where was it?
I have it right here. I have it right here on screen.
Oh, I'm not on there. Yeah, scroll down and it should have like 3 different ones.
Yeah, like hours served.
Yeah, the basic one is the one you probably already did.
What's that?
The first training.
I haven't gotten any training yet.
Oh, you haven't got any training yet?
No, that's coming up here. That's what I'm saying is my CERT program is 2 different CERT programs. The city part of it is helping the police to fire.
There it is. Hit the training recognition awards. That's the one I was talking about. Scroll down. Basic, intermediate, and advanced.
Yeah, so
there's some interesting stuff there.
So, with my city, I'm helping out the police to fire the local stuff, the little disasters that happen around here. And then there's this part of my CERT program that is nationwide, which is probably what we're looking at here because this is like FEMA, independent study courses. This is stuff that is more than.
Yeah, if you go
see,
to
IS 100, IS 288. Yeah, these are all programs right here that you can take. That's what I'm going to be taking. All this here.
Yeah, that's after the basic one.
So there's different so it seems like here that your intermediate, the very first bit here, seems to be my basic course. That's just for your general member stuff. And then from here down seems to be.
That's above there.
I know.
There's a basic.
What I'm saying on my program, though, is this stuff here is kind of what your commander does.
Oh.
And then the advanced stuff is like what my county does. Yeah, see NIMS here. NIMS is one. Here's exactly what I was talking about. Spontaneous volunteers in a disaster. So that's like high command giving out directions to people that don't know shit, basically. Yeah. And although, yeah, it's got to be basic, intermediate, and then advanced stuff in my section, in my program here in Michigan. Or what I'm reading here is day 1, day 2, and day 3 of the courses for when you get trained. I don't know which are which. Yours is organized different. But
from what I heard, there's CERT in Columbus, and if you want it in your area, you have to create it.
right.
I wouldn't want to do that. No.
Well, that's what I was saying is when you take the courses, they give you the gear that you see in the picture here and then leave you to your own devices. Well, if it's just this person, well, that's all you have.
Yeah.
You can show up with your gear and say, I'm CERT, you know? Or you get a bunch of people together, like in my city, and you have 30 to 40 people.
Yeah, I think it's on the sign up somewhere. There's a sign up thing. Forget where it's at. I'll register for CERT. Yeah. There's create preparedness community account.
In California, they have hundreds of people that are on on a single CERT team because they have the constant wildfires, hurricanes, and not hurricanes, fucking wildfires. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Here is. Okay, that can't be reached for some reason.
Yeah, that's FEMA's closed. Government's closed.
Oh, right. Duh.
I went to look at it and I was like, oh crap.
Okay.
I got it.
So wait a minute. Does that mean CERT's closed?
It's a government agency.
Well, I mean, not only that, but we're a government agency under FEMA. So technically, does that mean that I'm closed?
Yeah.
Then how the fuck did we have our meeting?
Well, you guys don't get paid anyway, so you're all volunteers.
That's what I'd say. I'm being funny, okay? I'll be right back. I gotta get something to drink.
I wonder I wonder how that works. Is there a point to where they say, well, we're closed, you can't go out and help?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of why the city is in my area. My city tells me what to do before the government. You know?
Yeah.
Like if something happens here, I'm already going to be activated whether the government wants me to or not. Because there's what they told me was when a disaster happens, it's going to gradually get bigger. Okay, let's say we have a massive flood here in the state of Michigan that only takes out Detroit and the couple surrounding cities. Okay, we're not going to go a state of emergency yet. We're going to see if we can hold this on a city level. If we can't on a city level, we'll go to county. And if we can't on county, then we go to the state government, and that's FEMA. That's the big dogs are coming in. And even then, they may not even come in, as you saw in Helene.
How was your area today with the King thing?
Shit ton of protesters, but I didn't see a damn thing in my area.
Because that's what I was wondering.
It was on the news.
Were you going to be involved in that?
Oh no, we're not. We don't do
traffic and stuff like that.
No, we don't. No, we don't touch that.
Okay.
That's police. Even if we did have to, I guarantee you a lot of our guys would not go into that. That's not what CERT is about necessarily. We're disaster. We're not right.
Well, you know how these protests go.
I know.
That's what because I don't know how yours went today.
So let's say the protesters did burn down a building.
Yeah.
Unless it's a big fire, we don't get involved. Like, we don't have many skyscrapers and big buildings to catch on fire here. We're not, So, let's say a Walmart's on fire. Well, generally speaking, we're probably not going to get called up for that because that's not a big enough area that is affected. We're probably going to end up having the police protect the firefighters at that point. If it's a whole city block that is on fire, then yeah, we're probably going to get involved. And well,
but
I'll just say this:
you can't
there's
carry though, can you?
well, that's what I was just going to get at is, so there's an event at the Detroit airport. I forget when, but it's kind of one of those mock disaster things where they have all the first responders come in and they have a whole bunch of volunteers pretend to be dead or injured or whatever. And there's one that they're having, they said in the meeting today, can we get CERT to play rioters? Well, our commander says, I don't want you going down there because we don't want you getting hurt, for one, because then you'll be out of commission. So with that, they're bringing in FBI and big government, big dogs to practice on riots. And from what I gather, CERT, at least for my area, is going no contact when it comes to riots, unless it's a big natural disaster zone, like they catch, let's say they firebomb Walmart. Walmart catches a whole city block on fire, at which point we'll already have police on scene to back us up, and on a very, very select few of us will be armed. Most likely, we're talking ex-military. We're talking people that are exempt when it comes to CPLs, meaning police officers and people that are of higher authority than CERT. Yeah. I myself, as a CPL holder, I don't see. Now, granted, am I going to have it in the truck? Yeah. Okay, I don't go anywhere without it. At least without it in the truck. Let me put it that way, because you can't fault me for having it loaded in the truck when I have my CPL, and that doesn't matter where I go with that, because it's locked in the glove box. At that point, I'm getting my ass out of there. Okay. At that point, all continuity of organization has left the area. It's every man for themselves, and being that I'm a volunteer and not paid to stand my ground, I'm not going to take a chance. Not that I'm being a coward, but it's more of a tactical retreat.
Especially in that city.
Well, that and, liabilities after the fact, unless the whole fucking country is in anarchy and we're Mad Max style, I can still be sued in court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, that's why somebody was asked if you were to protect yourself, would you rather protect yourself in Texas or Illinois? Texas.
Texas. Illinois is terrible for that shit.
Yeah.
So I'll be right back. I'm going to grab something to drink. I'm getting a little dry here.
Yeah, I find it interesting that I heard some very cool logic about pew pews and stuff. We're the second most, second or third, I think it was, of violence with a pew pew. And if you take out the five major cities, where we are like the 140th for most, instead of the third. And those five cities have the strictest pew pew laws. Interested in it? We go from third worst to 140th. 140 something. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I thought that was an interesting way of looking at that. Is when somebody brings up, this country is horrible with the violence, with the pew-pews and this and that. But if you take out the 5 cities, and the thing is, when somebody deletes themselves with a pew-pew, that counts as pew-pew violence. There was nobody else involved in it but that person. It still gets counted as that. That way it can bump the stats up. And that is the most thing that happens. That's the number one thing that happens with a pew-pew is someone deleting themselves. And then it's, murder and all that other stuff. Gun violence or gang violence. It's a lot different when you look at the stats and not what the news puts on TV. Yeah, our city had the King protest. I drove by it. There was one guy dressed up as a woman. That's the only one was there. Nobody else came. He was out there with a sign.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
So when is your training?
I have no idea in terms of dates just yet, but they did say within the next month or two. So before the end of the year, really.
Can you come down Christmas?
Can I come down Christmas?
Yeah. They'll call you up. Can you come down here for Christmas and do your test?
Yeah. Oh, it's not necessarily
your training.
Yeah. My guess is probably November. Just because our commander has gotten his arm twisted to get this going by another commander that knows what he's doing a little bit better. Not to speak ill of my own commander, but the commander that's spurring my commander is more cert oriented than so we're police and fire oriented here in my city. The other commander is more cert oriented on a national level, if that makes sense. Remember what I said about my cert team being 2 different types?
Yeah.
So he's getting us organized on the federal level. We're already organized on the city level, so yeah. And then my ham class for the ham license and such is every Tuesday until sometime in December, like 7 to 9 o'clock, so via Zoom. So that'll be nice. I get to sit here on the computer if it'll cooperate. It probably will. I gotta re-download Zoom and such. Gotta remember.
I can't believe they're still using Zoom.
I don't know. They just discontinued AOL.
Yeah, I know. No more. You've got mail.
You've got mail. It's funny, the guy that I emailed about the ham class was an AOL email. I'm like, dude, you are old.
Yeah, I still know a few people still have. I mean, I would have kept mine just for to have it, but I don't want to have another program in just to open an email.
Right. Oh, so anything new with you?
No, not really. My cooking channel's going good.
Oh.
Well, I should say, since I started doing carnivore stuff on there. I got
people like seeing your meat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just being weird. Well, I don't have much more to say tonight. Does chat have anything to say?
Everybody needs to say a prayer for Chrissy Cat's daughter.
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, she's having surgery Monday, I think she said.
Do we know for what?
Set it up there somewhere. I don't know where it went though. I seen it and then it flipped out of the way, so I don't know where it's at.
Let's see here.
Her name's Denise. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what kind of surgery that is. So how's work going?
Same shit, different day, really. Although I did
you
have.
Didn't have any issues with your prankster anymore, have you?
Well, as of last week, Monday, they moved him to shipping. Now I'm in shipping, but they got put with my team lead, so he's watching him like a hawk.
Oh, okay.
And his shit has pretty well stopped, or at least is not so prevalent in our eyes to where we're complaining about it. For those that don't know, somebody put gummy wrappers in my gas tank cap, and I thought somebody tampered with my gas, and ended up being some dipshit from work.
Yeah, I would have not even moved from that spot. I would have drained all that gas out.
Well,
if I was
I didn't realize it was there, and I didn't realize it was there until Saturday, and by that time it was.
Yeah.
He said he put it in there Tuesday, so.
Yeah, but you don't. When you see it, you don't know when it was put in.
Right. PNW, did I get a locking gas cap yet? Yes. That came in Amazon. That came Amazon like the day after, so I now have a locking gas cap. I had to break the old one off, so that sucks.
The little plastic cord, you mean?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No big deal though. I still have the old one, so if I need a backup or whatever, I can still use it. Just it won't be tethered.
Just got Well, you probably didn't get any warnings. Sometimes the locking ones leak air.
Oh.
So the emissions, you'll get your light will come on.
Well, that's why I have the old gas cap.
Yeah, always save it.
Right, in case that does happen. It did say make sure it clicked and make sure it's tight before, otherwise it may throw an error or something.
Yeah, because my truck, it didn't have one. I was like, oh, first thing I'm doing is going to get I went in there and told him I need a gas cap for my truck, and he said, oh, I wouldn't worry about it. These new gas tanks, nobody can siphon your gas out. Bull crap.
Bullshit.
I said, just because they're new doesn't mean they can't be siphoned.
What do you mean siphoned? We just drilled a hole in the bottom and then drained it into a bucket.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Yeah, so work has kind of calmed down. I don't foresee anything happening anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if you could have had one when you bought it, say.
No, it is not. That's not a thing.
An option.
No.
Because I know it's not the safest thing, where you push the button and the door pops open thing.
No, the Nissan Frontier is still kind of the old ways. You know what I mean? There's some things about it are I can't fucking talk. Some things about it that are still old and classic, and then some things are just overly techy. So, yeah. I don't like these capless gas tanks, I'll tell you that. Those are
Yeah.
My mom has one of those on her little Chevy Trax. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
and then if that leaks,
you have to get it replaced.
Right. She's only put about 200 or 300 miles on it in the last year.
Yeah. My daughter has her car. She has one like that, and like, oh, you left your gas cap you lost your gas cap. Doesn't have one. Like, why not?
Right. Army vet.
All you do is push it in there, and so what if it leaks?
Army vet says 101. Haven't drove a truck now for 4 years. Been in security. Good move for me, bud. Huh. Did not know you went to security.
Oh, is that what that is? Throat surgery? Okay.
I have a lot.
While we're talking about prayers, go ahead and pray for. I was going to say pray for this guy that just said "out, out, out." Him and Dixie are under the weather. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, I heard about that. Well, not the specifics about it, but that they were not feeling good. So I think with that, I'm going to follow in Jeff's comment here and call it a night. It's late and we got shit to do tomorrow. So with that, I will see you guys. Well, I don't have anything coming up next weekend, so at least that I know of. So I will probably see y'all next weekend, and I have a little more meaning behind that, being that I don't have any cert stuff or anything extra. So I will see y'all then, and 101,
Come on, man.
Come on.
Hasn't done that for a while.
No, you're not going to say it? Damn it. Okay.
Well, that's Jeff. I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Okay. 101 out.